see, you know very well, y is equal to f of x. What can you say about this? This is a function of a single variable. Y is a function of a single variable x. So now instead of seeing a function of a single variable, so hereafter you are going to move on to functions of several variables. That is, for example, z is equal to a function of x comma y. That is, z is a function of x and y. Okay. See definition. In general, they have given. Suppose D is a set of n tuples, right? I think you know what do you mean by R square. What is R square? Okay, I'll write here. What is R square? Okay, what is R first of all? Set of, R is set
Real
of
numbers.
real numbers.
Real numbers. Real numbers.
Real numbers.
Square of the real.
Not square, right? R square is, it is R cross R. Direct product you might have studied, right? R cross R. That means you have what? Pair of elements like this. See, is a set of all x comma y such that x and y are real numbers. X comma y. Let it, you can have it like this: x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2. So every element will be a doublet here. So that is R square. Suppose if you see what is R cube, any element will look like this: x comma y comma z, such that x comma y comma z belong to the real numbers. So each and every entry is a real number. So in general, if you speak about R power n, it is nothing but x1, x2, etc. xn. If you want, here also you take x1, x2, x3. Here also x1, x2, no issue. x1, x2, etc. xn, such that each of these xn are from the set of real numbers. That is called R power n. It's not actually the power. It is the direct product. R power n is nothing but R direct product. R direct product. You see, you might have studied this, right? A cross B. How will the elements of A cross B look like? It will be something like this, right? Where A is from capital A, small b is from capital B. So the same way, R square means it is R cross R. It has elements like this where X and Y are both from R, right? So here A and B are both R. That way.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now see this. Suppose D is a set of n tuples of real numbers. N tuples, no, it is a subset of R power n. Need not be R power n exactly, because we are not going to include all the elements of R power n. We include only a subset. So that subset we are calling it as D. Usually domain layer D. So we denote it by D. So a real valued function. What do you mean by a real valued function? Usually a function will be defined from something to something, right? So whenever the range, the answer, if it is a real number, then the function is called a real valued function. F of something you evaluate, right? That something after evaluation, if it is a real number, then it is called a real valued function. For example, here f of x1, x2, etc. xn will be a real value. Okay, va? See here. Okay. The set D is the function's domain. The set of W values taken by is called the range. 1 minute. See. X1, X2, etc. Xn. Similarly, Y1, Y2, etc. Yn. These are all the elements of the domain. Each element is taken to where? It is taken to f of x1, x2, etc. Xn. Here, this is taken to f of y1, y2, etc. Yn. So from D, it goes to some other domain, right? And all these collections, all these f's are called range. I think you know what is range, right? See, suppose there is a function 1, 2, 3. It is going to 4, 5, 6. Then 7 is also there. So these 4, 5, 6, these three elements are called range. 4, 5, 6, 7 is called codomain. So not necessary that codomain and range should be the same. What is domain here? 1, 2, 3 is called the domain. Okay. So, but we are interested, as per your syllabus, we are interested only in 2 variables, not more than that. In general definition, it is n variables, but we are interested only in two variables. Okay, one very important thing. Okay, better I'll have a empty slide. I want to say something. That is, I want to say what is z of, suppose, what is y is equal to f of x? It's a curve, right? It's a two-dimensional curve. Some curve you have. Okay, what is z is equal to f of x comma y? It is a three-dimensional curve because x is there, y is there, and z is nothing but f of x comma y. So you have some three-dimensional curve like this, something like this. Okay, this is z is equal to f of x comma y. I want to say particularly something called level curve. Level curve. Okay. What is this actually? Whatever I have drawn, even though it looks horrible. What is this? Can you say what is this? Whatever I am projecting, can you see? I am showing you something, right? Some green colored
Yes,
picture. What is that actually?
Semicircle.
Yes. Maybe it may be wrong, no problem. Please tell me. Whatever you
three
want to say.
dimension.
Three-dimensional
Like
figure. What is that figure? It
dome.
is
Dome.
dome. It's a paraboloid, right? It's a paraboloid. Paraboloid.
Paraboloid.
Parabola is two-dimensional figure in the Madri. Yeah, it will be something like this, or you can have something like this. Okay, this is parabola, two-dimensional, but here three-dimensional look is there. It is a paraboloid. Okay, paraboloid. Okay, now I'll ask you something. See, in paraboloid, if you cut here, somewhere here, in the middle, what you have? It is just like slicing a lemon. If you cut like this, see along this, if I'm cutting, just I'm cutting with the knife like this. What can you see if you cut?
Circle.
Circle. Very good, very good. It is a circle. That is what I'm doing. Actually, this is a three-dimensional figure. I'm cutting along a particular value of z, right? Here you have some z, I don't know. See, because x and y values are scattered here, z means it gives you the height. So this only speaks about height, only speaks about z, right? So at a particular value of z, if I'm cutting, that is I'm keeping z as a constant. Keeping z as a constant, if you make a cut there, you get a circle. So that circle is called the level curve of this paraboloid. So what can I say is paraboloid is made up of many circles. It is like this, see, one circle, another circle, another circle, another circle, another circle, something like this, see. Throughout the paraboloid, you can see circles like this. It is piling up of circles. Okay, now I'll ask you, and now I'm going to consider a cylinder. I'm going to consider a cylinder, right? Maybe here z is equal to 0. Cylinder is very important. You have to specify the z value, right? What is cylinder made up of? Can anybody say? What is cylinder made up of? Cylinder is made up of circles. So what is the difference between the paraboloid and the cylinder? There is some difference, right? There are also circles, here also circles.
Cylinder
What?
has same radius.
Has uniform.
Very good.
Same.
Radius same where? Cylinder. Very good. Very good.
Cylinder
In
uniform
case of
radius.
Same
cylinder.
on cylinder.
Very good.
At
Very
any
good.
point.
So in cylinder, so cylinder is obtained by piling up of circles of same radii. But parabola, you don't have that, right? Very good. Very good. Okay, so it is obtained by piling up of circles. So wherever you make a cut, you get the same circle. Circle will be the same, but it is in a different position. So level curve at each and every value of z is the same here. Okay, ma? Yes. Can you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. See, that's what, see, equation of a cylinder is usually mentioned by equation of a circle. They always give like this. X square plus y square equal to 4. That means it denotes actually a cylinder. It's a circle, I accept. But this circle is being piled up from somewhere to somewhere. The thing is you have to mention where to where. If I mention like this, from z equal to 0 to 3, you are piling up a circle of radii, radius 2. Is it okay? So what is a level curve for a cylinder? It is again a circle. But there also circle, the only difference is the radii of the circle were different. Okay. Okay. That's the thing, yes, see. Level curves they have mentioned. See, by drawing the circles like this, they are mentioning they are the level curves. So how to obtain the level curve of a particular figure? Suppose z is equal to f of x comma y is a three-dimensional figure. How to obtain the level curve? By setting z is equal to some constant value. Whenever you fix z equal to some constant value, you will get the level curve. So what can you say about the sphere here? Sphere. Sphere, so to mention that it is a sphere, I am drawing a, what is this circle called? It is called the greater circle, right? Because this is the circle of maximum radius in this sphere, right? Okay, what is sphere made up of? Wherever you make a sphere is just like a lemon, right? More or less.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, lemon is just like a sphere, more or less. Not exactly. There may be some ununiform position somewhere, but it more or like looks like a sphere. Not everywhere. Okay. So if you cut a lemon anywhere, what is the thing you can see in the middle? Again a circle. So level curve of a sphere is
Larger
also a circle. Good. See, graph. First they are asking you to graph. Don't worry, graphing and are not needed for you. This is z is equal to f of x comma y. Plot f of x comma y equal to 0, f of all these things. If you make f of x comma y equal to 0, now you get x square plus y square equal to 100. It is a circle. If you make f of x comma y equal to 51, you get what? X square plus y square equal to 49. Same way, f of x comma y equal to 75, you get x square plus y square equal to 25. So circles of radii 10, 7 and 5 respectively you will get. Whenever you make a cut along different positions of z. Okay. Okay. Limits and continuity. Okay. I'll just start limit at least. You remember limit? Everybody? Limit you remember in two-dimensional case?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you say? When do we say that limit exists? Suppose limit extends to a of f of x equal to L. That means whenever x approaches a, your f of x approaches the value L. That's the meaning of limit, right? So to check whether a limit exists, what and all things you check? So I suppose I want to say that the limit exists. How do you prove the limit exists?
F of A should be equals to F of B.
Oh, no.
Left hand limit should be equal to right hand limit.
Right hand limit is equal to that.
Yes. See.
LHL is equal to RH.
Yes. Suppose x equal to a is a point here. I need to approach this particular point. Since this is along a straight line, along a real line, right? So how to approach this point? Either you can move from the left or move from the right. So moving from the left is called the left hand limit. That too very important. You should move from points very nearer to what? X equal to a. And you should move from points very nearer to x equal to a from the right. So that's why we write like this, right? Limit extends to a minus of f of x. A minus the values just lesser than a. This should be equal to limit x tends to a plus of f of x. This is called the right hand limit. Why a minus and a plus? A minus now it means the values just lesser than a. Now to be frank, I'll say, see, usually we denote this symbol. This is called epsilon. What is this? Epsilon. Epsilon is a value just greater than 0. Real number. I'm not speaking about an integer. What is the very next value to 0 in case of real numbers? Any one of you? In case of real numbers, I'm speaking. Just take half a minute and tell me.
You can't say, ma'am.
Huh? Tell me. Somebody has told now. Please tell me.
They are decimal points.
What type of decimal point?
Roots.
Shall I say this way? Point zero.
Infinite.
You cannot identify, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not possible. Because
Infinitely many.
you cannot say what is the very next value to 0. So that's what epsilon is a value just greater than 0, which is not able to, you won't be able to tell what is that particular value, right? So this a minus is nothing but a minus epsilon. That is, I am moving from a minus epsilon to a, and here a plus epsilon to a. From left to a minus epsilon, from right to a plus epsilon. So a minus epsilon and a plus epsilon are very well near to a. Very well, it's almost a. Okay, wow. So if you are moving in that way, and if these two values are same, then you say that limit exists. Left hand limit and right hand limit exist. See, for that we have a mathematical definition. I'll tell you that mathematical definition. So what I want to say, whenever x approaches a, if you feel that you are getting confused, please tell me. I'll go slowly. See, whenever x approaches a, your f of x should approach n. So that is in pure mathematics, there is a definition, that is, see, there exists epsilon greater than 0 whenever delta greater than 0, that is, there exists a delta greater than 0 such that f of x minus L is less than epsilon whenever that means distance between x and a is less than delta. Delta is also a very small value. Whenever this is happening, that is, I am taking only a minus epsilon and a plus epsilon, right? So what is a minus epsilon and a plus epsilon? How to call that? Shall I write like this? Less than epsilon, modulus of x minus a less than epsilon, right? Okay, that way. Okay, so a modulus of f of x minus L less than epsilon whenever 0 less than x minus a less than delta. That is, the difference between x and a is very small. Whenever this is happening, the distance between f of x and L is also very small. That means whenever x is nearing to a, your f of x should also near the value L. It also should approach the value L. This is the mathematical definition of limit in case of 2 dimension. But now we are going to see the definition of limit for a 3 dimension. Okay, just read this once again. Read this definition, then I'll explain you. I'll explain this definition and then leave you. Read this. Okay. 2 dimension, what I want to say is, see, limit x comma y tending to x naught comma y naught of f of x comma y is equal to L. Limit x comma y tending to x naught comma y naught of f of x comma y is equal to L. 1 minute here. Hello, I'm sorry. See, limit x comma y tending to x naught comma y naught of f of x comma y equal to L. That means whenever x comma y approaches x naught comma y naught, f of x comma y approaches L. This is the meaning, right? One thing I'll ask you. See, whenever you have what? Single means you have a line. Suppose if I want to x2 approach A, na, you can approach either from the left or right. But here it is 2-dimensional, right? Your point is suppose x0 comma y0. So how many ways you can approach x0 comma y0? What and all ways you can approach? If it is a single dimensional point, it is simple, yeah. To approach A either from left or right, you can approach. But if you want to approach a 2-dimensional point x0 comma y0, what and all ways you can approach? Tell me. Along which and all curves, if you proceed, you can approach.
Why,
Parabola.
Very simple. Shall we approach through this line?
We should approach x0 on the x-axis and y0 on the y-axis.
Many lines, yeah. 1 minute. Whichever curves pass through x0 comma y0, through all those curves you can approach.
Parabola.
Not only parabola. I am saying whichever curve passes through x0 comma y0, through all such curves you can approach this point x0 comma y0. So whenever you are trying to approach x0 comma y0, through all such curves, your f of x comma y should approach here. But in this case, only one was there. Only you can approach from left or right, no other value, because it's a single line. To reach a point along a line, either from left or right, only you can proceed. No other direction you may prefer. But if you consider a point like this, if you want to approach this particular point, then you can approach through any curve which passes through x0 comma y0. That's why I'm saying, what is this straight line? This straight line is x is equal to x0. What is this straight line? Y is equal
to y0.
I can approach through x equal to x0, y is equal to y0. Even I can approach through a parabola like this. Somebody said correctly. Y minus y0 equal to x into x minus x0 the whole square. Or even I can have some m also here. Okay, not only parabola, I can have some n also here. Because see, how many values of m you can have? Infinitely many values. How many values of n you can have? Infinitely many n. Not only this, yeah, even I can change it. See, I can have a parabola like this also.
Yes, no. So, that can pass through.
Okay, wow. So how many such curves are passing through this particular point? Infinitely many curves. Main thing I forgot, I can consider a straight line. This is the straight line, right? With slope m passing through x0 comma y0. Or even I can have a straight line like this. M is itself variable. It's a slope. So when slope varies, here itself you get infinitely many. Here infinitely many. Here infinitely many. Here infinitely many. So altogether you have infinitely many curves that passes through x0 comma y0. So if you are trying to approach x0 comma y0 through all such curves, and if you are able, and if your f of x comma y approaches L through all such curves, then we say the limit exists. So whenever limit exists, it is not easy to say that limit exists. But whenever limit does not exist, it is easy. If you are able to say that, see, suppose infinitely many, right? Even among two different curves, if you are getting two different limit values, you can conclude limit does not exist. Among two different curves, if you are getting two different values, then you say that limit does not exist. But if you want to prove that limit exists, 1 minute, I'll conclude 1 minute. But suppose if you want to prove that limit exists, you need to prove through all infinitely many curves. But proof infinite ways is not at all possible. There is no such thing which you can that can be done in infinitely many ways, right? So for that only we have to go this general proof. That is, we should find an epsilon such that this is less than epsilon and this is less than delta. Here you see the exact definition. We have to follow this definition and prove it. Okay, now you ask. Later, tell me. Hello? Somebody asked something. Sorry, tell me. Hello? Hello? My voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody interrupted and asked something. Please tell me now. Ask me now. Hello? No. Okay, I'll explain this definition alone. So in what way I explained this definition? The distance between f of x and L is less than epsilon whenever the distance between x and A is less than delta. So the same way, if you convert this to what? 1 minute. 2 dimension. So f of x comma y limit x comma y tending to x naught comma y naught is L. So now I need to prove the distance between f of x comma y and L is less than epsilon whenever the distance between x comma y and x naught comma y naught is less than delta. What is the distance between x comma y and x naught comma y naught? You know how to find the distance between 2 points? Tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Root of x minus x naught whole square plus y minus y naught whole square.
This value is less than delta. It lies between 0 and delta. Because distance is always positive, so I ensure that the left end value is 0, the maximum value is delta. So whenever there exists a epsilon, I should find a delta in such a way that these two conditions are satisfied to prove that limit exists. Okay, well, better I'll stop here because again within 10 minutes I have another class.